Um, it's amazing how these things work when you get up at a particular time in the morning. And the first uh, spiritual teacher that I listen to a lot of her stuff is Wake Up Africa, which is Dr. Mummy Saraki. And she was covering the subject this morning about not just narratives, but sometimes I forget about this myself because you get distracted. I call them 404 redirects. You know what a 404 redirects is, right? And she mentioned something that is very critical that sometimes I know that we forget about. And that is what a do is, like Mountain Dew, do. And again, we're back into D as in tetrahedron, A, B, C, D, 4. E, directed energy. W is the wave. Okay. So the directed energy of the wave, the radio wave, crystal spiral wave, the direction, or if you will, the intention of the energy. So you're directing your energy, which is an engine, which is your consciousness, which is energy, to give life to something that was, if you will, developed by essentially using AI, like Hollywood, a movie. Okay, so what that simply means is that that movie is a program. It's an application program interface with AI. So when you're using your directed engine, which is energy consciousness, you're giving life to that program. Okay? So in other words, if free will is truly free will, then your choices are what we give energy to experience. So do I want to experience, for example, some corporate psycho pathway, which is a mental field pathway, which is an AI field pathway, right? In this case, this particular AI, because I'm very familiar with it. So in this case, for example, you see in that movie called Ex Machina, some guy that's out there banging a bag, which is the force side, which is the male side, right? Introduces this guy who is considered within this man's company as a corporation. So a corporation in and of itself is a fiction. Okay? It's a corporate parasite because what is it in the business of doing? It's all about energy. It needs to acquire more energy, which is consciousness energy, in order to do what? Perform the function for which it was set up to do by the units of consciousness that are doing it, which is energy. Okay? So now you're into programming. So now you're into how old you are. Programmable matter. Right? And what we choose to be held captive by other units of consciousness that we become aware of, that we have a relationship with. So the law of one clearly makes it obvious that we do not hold another unit of energy captive as an attachment. Okay? So now you're getting into the difference between wave distortions, or if you will, the electrical density resistance between the two. So now you can measure that in torque speed and experiencing a loss of energy because you realize you're running below zero. Something's feeding on your energy. Now you're chasing a time clock, which is your own calculator, to get up to zero so your water worlds are in balance. That is the ultimate calculator between female, male frequency modulation as to whether that energy is in balance between the two. Right? H2 plus 1 equals 3 waves. That's 3 spheres. So you see how the numbers relate to DNA, the language of DNA, and consciousness, and what we use our energy to do. So with me, if I am what love is, then I'm using my love energy in this place to heal a planet. That was my job. That was what I decided to do because that's what I've been trying to do since I was 4 years of age. Because you realize the planet fell into lower density, a level of density that is just dense. But others are comfortable with that density. That's their pathway. All right? So if your direction, The right-hand path is to be in balance. Then you're in balance between the two, which is what one is, which means you're in balance with all creation. As it's recreating itself or experiencing something brand new that has never happened before. Because the energy that we're doing it with is what love is. And so what ends up happening on these platforms is we're time looping. Because everything that you experience on the phone or a laptop has already happened. That means we're all living in the past. We're not living in the now and not creating a new experience that is different from the last. And that's a time loop. That's a hamster wheel. I call that going nowhere fast. So it's not like you can't learn from somebody else. So now we're into the evolution of learning, which is the speed at which we're learning. So essentially what that means for those that are here doing grid work, celestial mechanic, to repair what happened here, means that they've already, how do you put it, risen and expanding their own light, which is expanding their consciousness. Otherwise, their consciousness wouldn't know what's going on by the work that we do if we were not aware of the repair that was required. As essentially moving mama up out of negative magnetic space. As a result of having fallen in spirit, as a result of intruders, right? Intruders, intergalactic pirates, control freaks, those that don't know how to let you be. You know, it's always about a leash, a collar, and a cage of holding energy captive because they think by virtue of who they are, they have the right to do that to other units of energy. So that's a scale measurement in a universe in the direction that we're all going together. Because we're connected to each other. Simple stuff, huh? So, yeah, engines, directed energies. Directed energy is a directed energy engine. What we're using our engine for. And is that engine in balance? Have a great day. Bye now. Thank you, Dr. Mummy Saraki, for that good morning introduction. Yeah.